Hello everyone, it's Matt here, and this is an overview of the Legoland Discovery Centre Birmingham Adult Night, which was held on the 12th of December. I'm going to start off with purchases because that's going to be the easiest one, and the only purchase was a Build-A-Fig pack, so you get essentially 3 figures complete with an accessory. I decided just to get a few random torsos, 1 complete figure, and a handful of accessories, including the top hat, which I've not seen there before. Possibly have seen before, but isn't very common. New to the Discovery Centre is a brick engraving machine, which was still being trained on at the time, so by now it might have come into use, but I'm not entirely sure. I'm going to start the actual review of the Discovery Centre in the entrance lobby, where regular customers would be buying tickets for them and their children to actually, or them and the kids they have, to enter the actual Discovery Centre. And this actually has a biplane and a rocket going around on a hanger, which just does a 180-degree sort of 360-degree rotation. So there's nothing really special to mention about here, except for the fact that the biplane actually has a wing walker, who's actually on the wing as it's rotating. Moving further in, you get the photo opportunity, which you are told to take 2 poses, and then you can purchase tickets later. I should note that the 2 figures that are here actually share the same legs, with just a different belt on, so maybe these figures are actually modular. There is actually another similar one of these in the shop, the much smaller scale, and there's actually further ones inside the actual attraction, which you'll see later. Moving on to the actual Miniland, not really anything has changed since I last visited for the A4 preview event held in August 2017. The only real changes have been the addition of some snow, some winter figures like elves and reindeer, and some ice skaters as well. A point I did note is that it looks like the trains in the exhibit have not been made active, which includes a train running between New Street and Moore Street, and the Midland Metro. None of those look to have changed. The motorway as well, that didn't look to be working either, so I don't know whether there's been problems with the vehicles or whether it was just because it's the adult evening they weren't running. But it does seem a bit of a shame, if not a bit of a bit bad, that it's been over a year and they've not been made working, at least as far as I can see. They didn't seem to have their positions moved. Moving on from Miniland, the first area you enter after Miniland is the Friends area. So obviously I didn't spend too long in here, but I did take photos of all the main characters that are part of the Lego Friends franchise, because they all have their own figures. These are rendered largely in 2x4 bricks, with the odd extra brick to get a specific shape. But these come out really nicely. They're not that tall, surprisingly, though. They're about, like I said, 1 to 1.5 meters at most. So there's a bit of a wide range, but I can't remember. It's been a while. They're fairly well detailed, fairly accurate to the actual figures they represent, or at least the cartoons they represent rather than figures. But nonetheless, here they are. And then following on from this, we've got a photo of the Christmas tree. The Christmas tree has been decorated with user-made ones or visitor-made decorations. So if you are interested in that sort of thing, you could have built one. I'm not sure it's actually there now. You could have built a decoration and then added it to the tree. There's also a knight in this area with the back of a castle sort of aesthetic, and this was opposite the tree. There's also plenty of other things you could actually see in the vicinity as well. So there's other figures like you've seen in the entranceway, and then moving around to the cinema, there's actually a sort of like a ticket attendant, which is quite interesting. And he's actually rendered with only half torso. His legs don't actually exist, which I thought was very, very odd, but nevertheless, that's the way they've actually done the model. And there were 3 films on show, which were the Lego Movie 4D A New Adventure, the Book of Creativity from the Nexo Knights, and the Ninjago Master of the Fourth Dimension, the new 4D movie. I didn't actually see any of these because I wasn't really that interested, although they were showing. Moving on from the cinema, there is the build and test area, which you can build a skyscraper out of Duplo, along with a seismic simulator to see how good they would last and if they would fall over. And the last set of photos you'll see, generally speaking, are of the cafe and around that sort of area, which has what's a large amount of supersized plant life and that sort of thing, such as flowers and the trees, which are quite nice to see. And it's nice that Lego are sort of giving a nod back to their original scenery items, even though you can't really find these anymore in sets. There's also a chef standalone figure here, which is obviously it's greatly exaggerated from the standard minifigure size, but it's fairly kid size, so it's for them to take photographs with. The soft play area was of course off limits because it's an adult only event, so you wouldn't need it open. So not only was the soft play area not open, there was also a ride which is only for kids anyway, and neither of those are actually available for adult night, if you like, which is fairly understandable. The only last photos you'll see are of the honesty box, which the lid was actually had Lego on it, but inside was mostly Technic, and there was some system stuff, but it was mostly Technic from the looks of it that was actually in there. And I'm going to finish off with just a quick view of the overall Discovery Centre, which I took via video. So, to get into the adult evening, you have to buy your ticket in advance, and that ticket costs you £15. Now, bear in mind, entry to the shop is already free, and you can go into the shop whenever you want, providing it's open. So, for that £15, you're paying for entry into just the Discovery Centre. So, the question you've got to ask yourself is the Discovery Centre worth that £15 ticket price to actually get in? And personally, I don't think it is. There's not really a lot you can actually do in the Discovery Centre that enamors you to pick it over, say, the Sea Life Centre, if you're staying within Birmingham, or one of the other attractions. And to be honest, considering you can be paying that and getting into an actual Legoland itself, like Windsor, it's just a bit expensive for what you can get. So essentially, buying into the Discovery Centre, you get access to the Knights ride, which is like a castle theme one, which doesn't seem to make sense considering there's no castle themes active at the moment within Lego. You then got access to all the build pits. There's a friends area. There's the sort of build and test area with the earthquake machine. You got the mini land, and you got a few other bits and pieces like those build pits and the mosaic making and the Christmas tree decoration, that sort of stuff. But some of that's seasonal. So the big question really is that I personally don't think that £15 was worth it. I mean, I was in and out of the Discovery Centre, the actual attraction part, in less than an hour. Obviously, some people may have found more stuff to do. I mean, bear in mind, I just went into Miniland, just went, that's nice, that's changed, that's still staying as is. As the trains especially, it was a bit weird seeing them in the same positions. And it was just a bit of, well, that's Miniland done, let's see what the rest of it's like. And the rest of it wasn't much better than what changes to Miniland were, so I'm just like, well, I've paid £15 to get in. I don't really believe it's actually worth that value. And that's kind of why I like to do videos like this, because some people may not be able to visit or may be on the fence, and it's just a case of, well, here's what you get. Personally, I don't believe it's worth 15 quid, but, you know, it's obviously everybody's opinion is different. Some people might say that £15 is worth it to see what the kids can actually access. Some people might go, oh, sorry, there's a fly there. It's going to cost me £15 for an adult-only entry. I might do that I then see if it's good enough to take my kids to as a family or that sort of stuff. So on that sense, you might actually save money by spending for £15 in advance and then not having to spend the money for the family by sort of going, actually, I don't think it's actually going to be worth it. Let's just take them to X or Y and Z instead, rather. So from my perspective, the Discovery Centre was a waste of time and a waste of money. I got some photos and videos out of it, and I saw some friends and some people from my lug, but on the whole, I don't think it was worth it. So that's the conclusion, and that's the end of this video. So bye.